Hello everybody, welcome to Shaka. My name is Gianluca Interrante. I'm the chef owner of Eat Sicily. It's a cooking school I just created last year. I founded to make sure that all the tourists that come to Shaka, to Sicily, can enjoy the bountiful of products that we have here. What are we going to do today? Today we're going to do something very particular. You see my orange bright chef coat? It's because we're going to talk about arancina. What is arancina? Arancina is the name of a small orange. In fact, arancina. But in reality, arancina is the name that Sicilians use for the rice balls, which is a mixture of rice with tomato sauce, ground beef, and it gets made into a sphere, and it gets breaded and fried. So we're going to show you all the passages that it takes to make the arancina, because it's a long process. It's about half an hour to an hour long, but we're going to just show you all the parts that interest you. So talking a little bit about arancina was born, some people say in the 11th century. It was a time when the Arabs took over Sicily, and there was an emir, a king of the Arab territories. His name was Ab at Timla. In fact, the name timla resembles timbal. Timbal is rice which is mixed with beef and meats, it's tomato sauce, and it's baked. So it's a baked rice casserole. The word timbal actually comes from the name of the Arab emir Timla. It is said that this emir loved to eat rice so much that one of his chefs actually put together the rice stuffed with meat, and he breaded it so the emir could take this fried rice away with him while he was hunting. In reality, if you think better, the traditional arancina that we use today in Sicily is filled with tomato sauce and beef ragout. But in reality, back then in the 11th century, we did not have any kind of tomato sauce. So back then, the original arancina, as it was born, it was just white rice and pieces of meat. So this is saffron. Saffron is the red gold of Sicily. As you can see, it's a bright red. This is made by a friend of mine. His name is Leonardo Mauceri. He has a field of saffron, and one of our experiences actually includes to go pick saffron on his fields. This is done usually around November. So which is the best way to use saffron? You get a high quality saffron, you put it into parchment paper like so, then you cover it with paper, and then you take a hot pan, and you just sear it over it like this. What this does, it takes all the moisture away from the saffron, and it makes it a little crunchier, and then we're going to grind it and mix it with a little bit of water. We kept this saffron under the heat for a few minutes. Now we remove it, and with the back of a knife we do this. This helps to grind the saffron. Now we put the saffron into a small pan, and we add just a little bit of water. Okay, like so. Very little water, see? Now what this does, this is a Persian way of using the saffron, because saffron comes from the east. It was brought to Sicily by the Arabs in the 8th century. So we let it stay here, and this will soak, and then we'll add this to our rice. So to cook our rice, we turn on the pan real hot. We put the rice in, and we'll start turning the rice without olive oil, with nothing. Because what we're doing here, we need to toast the rice. Make sure each grain is toasted, and this way as it grows, it keeps its shape, it doesn't fall apart and becomes all mush. So now the rice is toasted for a few minutes. We add olive oil. Okay. And we move it around so we get an extra toasting technique. And once the oil has been absorbed, all of it, we start adding our broth. On this side here, we have a broth made with just simple vegetables: celery, onions, carrots. And we start adding it. And we let cook the rice for about I'd say 8 minutes, and because the rice takes about 12 minutes. So around the 8th minute, we add the saffron. The saffron always gets added to the end. So after about 8 minutes, we add our saffron, our infusion of saffron, directly into it. Come closer so you can see it. And there, you see it's already infusing in the color. So now we let it cook for another 4 minutes. Now the cooking time, it depends from the kind of rice that you have. What you want to obtain with this is a texture of the rice which is fully cooked. Okay, so you don't want to keep the rice al dente like it was a risotto. You want to have the rice fully cooked but not overcooked. Okay, so we'll see in a few minutes. I'll show you how to finish this beautiful riso per arancina. So now the rice is nice and dry. You see. Okay, make sure it's not very wet. Okay, make sure it doesn't stick. We turn it off. And we add some pecorino cheese, okay, and some butter, okay, and we turn it to let it melt. The cheese and the butter will give a nice taste to it, and also the butter will help the rice to kind of glue together when it cools down. We also add some olive oil. This is Sicilian olive oil, this year, high quality, like this, and we just whisk it around. Taste the rice, make sure the rice is nice and flavorful. If it needs a little salt, just add it to it. A little bit of black pepper also goes a long way. Okay. As soon as the butter is melted, this rice is ready to go into the container where it needs to be chilled. See, the rice is nice and dense, it's not watery. Okay. Make sure we get all the rice out of the pan. We cool this down. You can even cool it down at room temperature. Don't put it in the fridge, it'll cook your fridge. And well, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to put together arancini. See you in a little bit. So, welcome back. So, what we've done here today is a beautiful beef ragu. I didn't show you how to do this because this takes quite some hours, but you know, it's a traditional beef ragu with tomatoes, onions, celery, carrots, ground beef, and the end I had some peas. Okay, so we put this here. So how do we make arancinis? You need a container with water and get your hands wet. Then you take arancini, you press it this way. You want to make it compact. And then, with the palm of your hands, you want to push it down, okay? And open it up like this. Make it nice and thin on the bottom. Then we take a beautiful scoop of this ragu. Lots of it, all right? It needs to be nice and full, okay? And what we do is we close it this way. So we push it down and we close it. If we need a little more rice, we add a little more rice on top, okay? All right, and we give this shape. So that's why it's important to make sure that the bottom part is thin. Okay, once we give it a nice roundish shape, doesn't need to be perfectly round. Okay, we dip it into water and flour. So this is just like this. With one end, dip in water and flour. The other end, put it here. So it's better to do this job with somebody that helps you out because you don't want to put this end into the breadcrumbs. So in this case, I'm just going to wipe it here. So you have one person who dips the arancine and one person that breads them. The breading part is very important. You need to get your breading tight. Come closer, avvicinati. Get your breading here nice and tight and push it down. Okay, so this is the stage when you give a perfect round shape. There is beautiful round arancina. So later you see why it's called arancina, because when you fry it, it's going to have a beautiful orange color. So now repeat. So here we have a different version of the arancina, filled with the mortadella and a Sicilian cheese made with saffron. We close it this way, like this, and we bread it and we fry it like the other arancino. There you go. So from the rice and saffron, we had a little bit of salt and some good oil. We made this arancino. As you see. So this is arancia and this is arancina. So as you see, they're very similar, they're golden in color. That's why the Sicilians call this arancina. Now, be careful, if you go to the eastern part of Sicily, you have to call it arancino with an O at the end. There's a big dispute between the Sicilians of Catania and Messina and the Sicilians of Palermo and Trapani. So we, like me, Sciacca, we like to call arancina with the A because it's round, it recalls the name arancia, and for us it's feminine. While in the side of the other Sicily, from Catania, they like to call arancino, and they make a point shaped, almost like the Mount Etna. So it's for them it's masculine, but I like the arancina better. And so here we have it, our arancina. Let's see how it is. Look at this beauty, huh? Fantastic. And then this is our other arancina, the one with mortadella. Look at this. Fantastic. Now, I get to eat it. You should come to Sicily and come here with me.